Warning. This is not a safe space. Leave your bullshit and feelings at the door.
Is there really such thing as a male patriarchy in society? I don't really think there is.
It's time for the most raw and unfiltered experience on the internet. So kick your feet up and grab a cold one. You have just entered the Man Cave. And now, here they are, winners of the self-proclaimed International Greatest Men Alive Award, Brad and Terry.
All right, thanks for joining us here in the Man Cave. I am Brad.
And I am Terry, and we are the greatest men alive. Self-proclaimed, but still.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Right.
Hey, make sure to check us out online over on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and listen to us on Google Play, SoundCloud, and on YouTube. But if you want the full no bullshit experience and the ability to win prizes, you're going to have to subscribe to us over on Patreon. We'll talk about that a little more later.
Hey, so I grabbed the beer today, but we've both tried it already. I want you to tell the people a little bit about what I got here.
Yeah, right. So you picked up the Blue Point Brewing Company Toasted Lager from the Blue Point Brewing Company, and it is brewed in Patriarchy, New York, and Baldwinsville, New York. Not bad.
Yeah, so I was at the beer store, the liquor store, and yeah. I caught myself just staring at the refrigerator holding all the beers, just not even having a clue what to get. And the guy who worked there came up to me and he said, "Hey, do you need help finding anything?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I usually just I buy beers and I like lager, and what should I get?" And he said, "Man, just pick something that says lager on it." So
it's so simple.
Yeah, so I don't know why I didn't think of it, but yeah, I just picked the one that had lager written the biggest on the 6-pack.
Yeah.
And this is it. It's a pretty average beer if you ask me, but yeah. I'm a basic guy when it comes to beer. I don't like all the fancy stuff.
That's sad.
Isn't it?
Beer it's so good and has so many options
I appreciate the different beers, but whenever I go to the store and I buy beer, I find myself buying the same thing. They don't have my favorite out here, but because I'm a big Yingling fan.
Yeah.
But they don't have that out here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Perhaps blasphemy. But moving into the first topic, right, we asked the question, is there really such thing as this male patriarchy, right? There are so many facts that point to the absolute truth of no. And so when we were coming up with this episode, talking about it, we figured what we're going to do is, here in the Man Cave, is debunk that feminist theory of the male patriarchy in the next 6 episodes, because when you read it, you really read that there are these 6 points that they make for the female theory on the male patriarchy.
Right, and we're going to take this episode to kind of introduce the topic and the idea, and we'll bring up the situation that brought this whole thing up and talk about it a little bit.
Kind of like a case study.
The main points of our next 6 episodes are going to follow along the lines of the 6 points of that male patriarchy movement, and ultimately it's the 6 points of the feminist movement. And those 6 points, just a little preview of the next 6 episodes, are going to be the state, the household, violence, paid work, sexuality, and culture. And those are the 6 hot topics to where really that patriarchy is said to be by the feminist movement and in this whole men patriarchy movement. So those are the 6 topics we're going to go over.
Yeah, right. So like you said, this started with what is the latest case in the news of trying to demonstrate the male patriarchy, which was the claim from the Serena Williams during her U.S. Open match that happened on the 8th of September. Right. So she does this match and she claims that she was unfairly targeted by the umpire, that she violated a coaching rule that they have in tennis that says that your coach can't illegally coach you either from the stands or from the sidelines. And then she ended up losing her cool because she feels like she was targeted because she was a woman. And then she accused at the press conference afterwards, after the match, she accused the entire professional tennis community of sexism. So to me, I wanted to start with like some of the facts of the match, right? After she laid the claim, or the claim that she was only targeted because everybody's sexist against her, her coach came out and admitted to coaching her from the sidelines. He straight up admitted to doing it.
Did he really?
Yes. So he admitted to breaking the rule.
Did she stick by her claim that...
What is today? Today is September 15th, and she is still sticking by the claim that she was unfairly targeted because they don't always enforce that rule against everybody. Just this one umpire decided to enforce it against her, and the reason that he enforced it against her is because she's a woman.
But she was playing against another woman.
We'll get into that, absolutely. But it's Serena Williams, and the only reason he could dare call her out and her coach out for coaching her from the sidelines is because she's a woman.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Did anyone stop to think that maybe she was called out and penalized because maybe she broke the rules?
Yeah, well, I mean, think about this. Think how many times people who are listening to this think about driving down an interstate. Mm-hmm. How many people are speeding? Because in most states, the speed limit, the limit that you are allowed to go for most states is usually on average 65. There are some exceptions. I know there's places in like Texas that's like 80, blah, 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 but the speed limit is that. Now, and how many times are you yourself driving down the road breaking that? And the cars around you all breaking the speed limit. I would ask you to go to court and argue the fact that the reason you got your ticket is because the cop enforced the standard on me because I'm a woman. And all the other people around me, he didn't enforce it on them. How come he didn't issue everybody a ticket? He's just picking on me.
Yeah, that wouldn't hold up.
Not at all.
Or maybe in today's society, it might actually.
I'm telling you, I don't think it would put up
it wouldn't.
For 1 second with a judge saying everybody else was doing it. I figured I could do it too, and the only reason you're singling me out is just because I'm a woman.
They'd laugh at you.
Yes, and then tell you to pay your damn fine.
Right.
And the court fees. So after the point was taken she got a point taken away from her for her coaching violation. She then proceeded to call the umpire a thief for taking the point. So she was then punished for verbal harassment. And then after that, she threw a full-blown temper tantrum on the court by smashing her racket on the court. Like heavy metal style with a guitar, but instead she has her tennis racket.
Did they just throw her out and disqualify her at that point?
They did not disqualify her at that point. I believe she lost another point for all of that, for verbal harassment and then smashing her racket, which ultimately led to her demise in the match because she was already down one set.
Yeah.
They took 2 points away from her on this set, so she lost the second set. And women's tennis, they only play for 3 sets. So if you've lost 2 out of 3, you've already lost.
Yeah,
You're done. So, yes, realistically, that made her lose. She had no chance of coming back once she did that. So my thing is, like, everybody talks about how strong Serena Williams is as a female in general. So to me, to use this, they targeted me because I'm a female. It's such a cop out. Just own your mistake and move on from it. That's being the grown up. And don't get me twisted. I'd say this to any man too, that if you're going to play this they're playing a victim card.
Yeah.
It's essentially what they're doing. They're playing a victim card.
Everybody today wants to be the victim. It's like if you can paint yourself as a victim, you win any argument.
You get moved ahead in life by playing the victim card, and you don't have to do anything in order to do it.
Right, you don't even have to be a victim.
Yeah, you don't. You just play the card and you automatically move on. Instead of doing some work, you just play the card and then take the couple steps ahead. Right. So, but to me, there's a time, a place, and a manner to approach a situation like this in which you genuinely disagree with somebody. temper tantrums and name calling is not the way.
No.
Right? So what I would have kept my professionalism, because that's what she is. She is a professional athlete.
That's what you would expect. Not only a professional athlete, but she's been doing it for an extremely long time.
Yep.
And any athlete with any kind of sportsmanship would have just brushed it off to the side and been like, if she was really targeted, she would have been like, hey, I'll deal with this later. Let me finish my match, and then I can deal with this situation.
Yeah. I like I said, I would have kept my professional, kept my cool, and then collected my thoughts. And if I wanted to address it, I would have done it at the post-conference or something like that. And that's the proper time, place, and to be able to address something like that. Address the press and tell them, I don't get this. Everybody does this coaching thing. Why was I singled out?
Right.
So, but of course, the shenanigans didn't stop there at the press conference, right? Okay. So you had old legendary tennis player Billie Jean King, right? She's known for the history of, smashing the patriarchy by beating the male tennis player Bobby Riggs, which, by the way, just so people know, Bobby Riggs was 26 years older than Billie Jean King when they had that famous match, right? And is said to have been completely out of shape when they played the game, right? But Billie Jean King says, ultimately, a woman was penalized for standing up for herself. A woman faced down sexism, and the match went on, right? All the woke, that's right in that sentence right there. She's so woke in that there.
How is playing a tennis game smashing this patriarchy?
Well, Billie Jean King, she smashed the patriarchy because she played a man and beat the man, that the dude that was 26 years older than her when she played him and probably out of shape.
Regardless, but
that was me saying that was smashing the patriarchy.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah.
I didn't catch your sarcasm.
That's what she did there. She smashed the patriarchy. But isn't that proof of smashing the patriarchy, though? That's the whole thing about the patriarchy, is that women just can't get ahead. And for years and years, everybody has looked at that one match as like this huge event in the civilized world where women have finally proven that they can be just as good as men at anything. Now, sports, women in sports can beat men as long as you're playing somebody twice your age.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the woke in that sentence, right? But unfortunately, all that woke goes away when you realize who her opponent was. Like you said, she was a Haitian Japanese female. But of course, Billie Jean King just went on to encourage female tennis players to always stand up for the injustice of the patriarchy.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So like I said, in the next 6 episodes, we're going to take that patriarchy and we're going to lay each of those points out and debunk all 6 of them to the best of our ability. So you have talking points to be able to tell, when you got some feminist coming up to you telling you how terrible you are for being a man, you can say, just stop right there. Let me tell you why there is no such thing as a male patriarchy in our civilization.
Right. And we're going to try our best to not get political on any of the topics.
There's a few that are going to really skirt the line.
Right. So when we get into paid work and the state and things like that, it's going to be we're going to try our best.
But I think the point of that is it's not necessarily politics with the wage thing.
Right.
We are going to debunk it with facts.
But it is a political topic that is brought up all the time.
Only because...
Not that it's about politics, but it is just because it's brought up by politicians.
Yes. But it's just because one side does not use all the facts. They use about one little sentence, and they don't think anywhere past that.
Right.
So, speaking of money, did you lose any money this week on your fantasy team?
No. Our prize pot isn't until the end of the season. So the grand winner of everything will receive money, and then the second place gets their money back. I don't know the total pot, but so hold on, let's see if I can do math here. I can only count by 45. There's 12 people in the league at $50 each. How much is that?
Like $60. $600.
$600.
Dang.
Yeah, so it's a pretty decent pot.
Okay.
But I won my game last week, my fantasy game. Even though I won, out of all the winners of last week, I had the lowest score.
Oh.
But I still won.
Yeah, winning a W is a W. It doesn't matter.
A W is a W.
But I would just like to point out.
I know.
Yep. You know where I'm going right here.
Yep.
I'm just going to call you Ofer.
Yeah,
because you are 0 for 2. You almost squeaked it out. Like, if you had only watched the first 3 quarters of the Bears and the Packers play, you would have thought the Bears were going to win.
What did I tell you was going to happen, though?
You did make the ultimate prediction.
I told you the Bears were going to have it, and Aaron Rodgers was going to do what Aaron Rodgers does, and he's going to win the game.
You were like Nostradamus.
Yeah.
It is true in Nostradamus because he just made so many predictions that some of them are bound to come true.
Do you think that's what it is? Because some of them are pretty crazy close to being.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, if you make enough NFL predictions, some are going to come true. Just apparently the ones of when you pick a specific winner of a game, those ones are not going to come true because you're 0 for 2 right now.
What I was thinking about doing was just every week saying the Browns were going to lose, because at that if I did that, then I have pretty good odds of at least getting one right a week. But on the topic of the Browns, there's some NFL history going on here. A good stat for you. The Browns finished week 1 with their best start since 2014 at a tie.
That's so terrible.
It is so terrible. They are 0-0-1.
And you know what's crazy? Like, so there was a time in my life where I actually did follow football a little bit. It was when I was probably around like 10 to 15 years old, where my dad worked. They had probably it's considered an illegal gambling ring, but everybody paid, I believe it was like $1 a week, and there was probably about 40 guys at my dad's work.
Right.
And they took every single game that was going on that week, and you just circled the team that was going to win, and you just kind of made your predictions, and then you had to, as a tiebreaker, you had to guess the total points that would be scored on the Monday night game.
Okay.
And so I kind of followed football pretty close. I knew who were going to be the solid teams and who were the terrible teams. Yeah. And I always remembered that I never picked the Bengals, because back in the day, back in like, the early 90s, the Bengals were considered the worst team in sports.
Well, when Carson Palmer was in his prime on the Bengals, they had a good team. They were able to definitely pull out some wins. And they kind of work like the stock market. They're way down, then they're way up. Well, not really way up. They're way down, then they're right in the middle, and they just kind of fluctuate a lot is the thing with the Bengals.
Fluctuate?
But the Bengals beat the Ravens on Thursday. Yeah. So who knows?
I know. I don't think that they have not. They're not the Browns have taken over as the worst.
And that's a divisional game. That's a big game, and it's a rivalry game. That game means a lot to them.
Yeah.
So
you got picks for I need 2
the
picks.
The Bengals are 2-0, man.
I know.
But I do have some picks.
Okay, let's.
I think that the Browns
are
gonna start off this season at 0-1-1 because they're playing the Saints, and there's no way, man.
You're just trying to get an easy win, get on the board.
Who knows, man? The Saints are 0-1. They have a terrible rushing game and a terrible defense, and the Browns have the second best rushing team in the league. So, but then the Saints have the best passing game in the league, and the Browns' defense is pretty shit also. So we'll see what happens. And
you're not allowed to do anything with the Browns after this. You're just trying to get on the board.
I am trying to get on the board. And then we're going to talk about the Monday night game. It's going to be my other prediction. The Bears are in it again.
Ooh.
So we got the Bears in the Seahawks. They're both 0-1, but after what happened to the Bears, you can't look at that 0-1 and be like, oh, they lost.
Up until that fourth quarter, they would have been 1-0. They were stomping the Packers.
I'm gonna take the Bears over the Seahawks in the Monday night game.
Okay.
I think that they are furious, and they are not going to come out here and just play football. I think the Bears take the Seahawks on Monday night.
All right, you got the Browns and the Bears.
Yeah, I'm calling Browns beating the Saints. Let's start off strong, 1-0-1. Let's do it.
Okay. So I heard you got a little story for us.
Yeah, it happened 2 days ago. I was driving to work. No, I was driving home from work, and it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And on the street, I see two men. It's not raining, okay? It is not raining. And there's two men sharing an umbrella.
It's up in the air.
It's up, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, even if it was raining, never would I share an umbrella with another man. It's not something that you do. It's like a violation of a man law.
How big was the umbrella? Was
It's
it just
a
a
standard
not like one of
umbrella.
those huge golf umbrellas or anything like that?
No, and man, they had to be gay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I didn't say there was, but there's no other reason for two men to share an umbrella in broad daylight.
Shade.
You are gay.
Shade. Maybe they tanned or burnt real easy, and they
Which
didn't
brings
want to
me
get
into
out
my
of the
next
sun.
point, which is sunblock. Sunblock would make more logical sense to use than sharing an umbrella, unless, okay, we're out, it's hot, it's sunny,
Yeah.
let's pull out the umbrella. But it kind of ties into the two men sharing an umbrella. Let's say you were at the beach with your bro. Would you
Okay.
put sunblock on his back?
Damn right I would. I'm
Would
a
you?
team player, man.
I wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be like,
No.
Well, there's so many inventions now that you don't actually have. They've made spray on sun.
I'll spray your back.
That's what I'm saying. Why I wouldn't even be like, hey man, we're gonna go to the. Hey, you want to go to the beach this weekend? Yeah. I would never even bring regular sunblock to rub on me because I can't get my back, and I'm not even gonna ask you.
No.
It wouldn't even come out of my mouth. Hey man, can you put some sunblock on my back while you're back there?
I'd probably go home.
Yeah. So that's why, this great invention of spray on suntan, the sunblock, is such a great thing because, you just shake the can and be like, yeah, I got you, man. Done.
Yeah, but I think that whenever you hear man law, you always think of using a urinal, bros before hoes, all that kind of stuff, right? But I think that we can officially add in, you don't share an umbrella with another dude.
You don't put
And you
sunblock.
don't put rub-on sunblock on your bro. You don't do it.
No, you're gonna get your back burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine everywhere else, but your back is just gonna be absolutely torched because nobody's helping you. Why? I would say most young men who are going to the beach anyway, you wouldn't need your bro because if you need somebody to rub it on your back, go find a woman to do it. Hey, excuse me, I don't want to get sunburnt. You mind rubbing this on my back?
I think you might be. You might come off as a little hyper masculine.
No, I think it would be a good pickup line.
Oh boy,
And
here we go.
Speaking of pickup lines, have you seen her recently?
No, I haven't. But that's not because I've been purposely avoiding her, but it's I've started doing something new temporarily for work for the next 3 weeks, so I leave for work about an hour and a half later than usual.
Yeah,
so our schedules just don't sync up in the morning.
She is thankful. She doesn't even know that you're on a different routine. But
I'm a little bit thankful also. It's been awkward twice now, once from my own doing and once from your doing.
Don't blame me in this. Don't blame me in this.
You gave me that terrible Transformer line.
Yeah, and apparently the only part of that pickup line you got out was the word trans.
Maybe. I don't know if it stopped there.
Yeah. In her mind, it stopped there, and she's like, this dude just called me a trans.
You're making it seem even worse. All right.
Terrible.
What do you got for me?
All right,
Let's hear it. Let's
right?
hear it.
Here we go. All right. Hey, baby. Is your dad a terrorist? Because you're the bomb. Just if you got the words terrorist out.
I think if I get the words "Hey baby" out
You have
and
to
I
use-
haven't been hit, it's the second time you've started it with "Hey baby."
Don't use hey baby then, but I'm telling you, if you get to the word terrorist, you're screwed.
So her mom's a beaver and her dad's a terrorist.
Yep. What kind of combination is that?
Hey,
Oh my!
it wouldn't be
Lord.
the first animal a terrorist has stuck his ding dong in. But as you know, I live in the heart of downtown, so seeing as I won't see her for a couple weeks, tonight when I make my prowl on the town, out on the hunt, I will maybe, depending on how much drink I've had, attempt to use that line. We'll see.
You could have at least a fistful of them in your pocket right now to be able to use.
I know.
There's no excuse for a good-looking single man like you to not pick one up.
Don't
with
make
one
me
of those.
blush. Don't make me blush.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, don't forget to check us out on Facebook at the official Man Cave Podcast, over on Twitter at the Man Cave 14, and on Instagram at the Man Cave Podcast. And we'll also put this on YouTube. But hey, for the full no safe space, no bullshit experience, check us out and subscribe to us over on Patreon. For only $1, you're going to be entered to win a UKEG 64-ounce stainless steel growler and all kinds of prizes that we give away. Again, yeah, you heard that right. Just for $1, you're going to be entered in to win a $140 fully pressurized growler. And for $5 a month, you not only get entered in to win the prizes, you're going to get exclusive access, like a little piece of ass after this that we're going to post called the After the Show Show. Mm-hmm. All right, and exclusive access to tell us what you want us to talk about and give us feedback on topics from every podcast. But hey, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay with us. We'll see you next time here in the Man Cave.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Any real man would follow us on Patreon for exclusive content and prizes at patreon.com/The Man Cave Podcast. The Man Cave. No safe spaces, no bullshit.